At 4 p.m., the Ethics Committee of Parliament will meet to submit its report and adopt the report which has been prepared by it. Remember, this is coming 7 days after Mahua Moitra, TMC MP, had appeared before the ethics panel, in which she had said clearly that she has done no wrong and that there is no quid pro quo or cash for query case against her. And thereafter, she had written to the Lok Sabha Speaker complaining against the manner in which she said the Ethics Committee panel chief, Vinod Sonkar in this case, had functioned, going to the extent of saying that this was a case of Cheer Haran by the committee boss. She had also demanded that she be given the right to cross-question or cross-examine the affidavit giver in this case, that is Darshan Hiranandani. It appears certainly now that the committee has prepared its report, and the details that have emerged are certainly very, very concerning for Mahua Moitra. What sources are telling us is that the Ethics Committee has recommended termination or expulsion of Mahua Moitra's membership from the 17th Lok Sabha. The 17th Lok Sabha, of course, will come to an end next year in May of 2024. The Ethics Committee has also said that because it is about money trail, that can be established only if the right agency of the Government of India conducts a probe. Let me go straight to Prashant, who's joining me live. Prashant, the three recommendations of the Ethics Committee are certainly very, very scathing. What do you think will happen at 4 p.m.? Will it lead to some kind of walkout or rejection of the report by those who had stood with Mahua Moitra on the meeting that was held on 2nd of November?
Well, Maria, you know, the procedure of the Ethics Committee is that once the draft report has been circulated among the members, now today at 4 p.m. the members will come for the meeting. And since the draft report was circulated yesterday, all the members are presumed to have gone through the report, and they will come to the committee meeting. And it is presumed that 5 of the members of the committee, all the 5 opposition members of the committee, that includes 2 members from the Congress party, Danish Ali of the BSP, and Giridhari Yadav from JDU, and PR Natarajan from CPM. These 5 members are supposed to give their note of dissent in the draft report. But in today's meeting, the agenda of the meeting is very clear. They are here to consider and adopt the draft report, and once it is adopted, they will submit it to the Speaker, and then the Speaker will take a call on what to do on the recommendation of the Ethics Committee. So today we are expecting that some of the opposition members might demand the division of votes before the adoption of report. But in that case, since we know that BJP and its allies in this 15-member committee, they have a clear-cut majority, and 1 member from Congress party and one member from the BJP, they are not supposed to attend the meeting because of the various reasons. So today we are hoping, it is believed that the report will be adopted by a division of vote, it is believed, because certainly opposition members will ask for division of vote. But there is no confusion whether this report will be adopted or not, because
if we were to look at
have a majority in the committee.
If we were to look at this 15-member ethics panel, of course the BJP doesn't have the majority, in the sense that YSRCP isn't really an ally or an NDA partner, but there is a YSRCP MP. YSRCP has largely voted with the BJP on the floor of the House in multiple legislations in the past. There is also a Shiv Sena Shinde faction MP. So all of them are there in this ethics panel. But what about Praneet Kaur? I think Praneet Kaur's vote will become important because she is a suspended Congress MP here, Prashant.
Maria, since you have raised this issue, first let me see the composition of the committee. I'll read out. BJP has 7 members of the 15 members committee. BJP has 7 members, of which Sunita Duggal, I believe there was a death in her family, and today she is unlikely to attend the meeting. But from the Congress side also, as you just mentioned, Uttam Kumar Reddy from Telangana, he is contesting the election in the Vidhan Sabha election, and he is slated to file his nomination papers today, so he is unlikely to come today. So that means 13 members are likely to attend the meeting, out of which BJP will have 6 members, and then, as you rightly said, Shiv Sena, there is one member from Shiv Sena who will obviously vote with the BJP, and YSRCP, the member from the YSR Congress party, has not attended the meeting in the last 2 meetings. So it is not clear whether he is coming for the meeting or not for today's meeting also. So far as Praneeth Kaur is concerned, that's a very interesting case, because I asked one of the Congress leaders 2 days back whether Praneeth Kaur will also give a note of dissent along with other opposition members. He was very categorical, and he said that he doesn't know whether Praneeth Kaur is even going to attend the meeting, and if at all she is going to attend the meeting, he even does not know whether she will also give her a note of dissent or not, because she's an suspended MP from
I think that
Congress,
becomes important.
And I mean, I can presume that she will come, but she will not give her note of dissent. But let's see what happens if she does not come, if she comes and she does not give her note of dissent, that will also be a story for the media.
Absolutely, Prashant. But what about Mahua Moitra? Prashant, continue to be with us, because what next for Mahua Moitra? What about her party? Because now the details of the ethics panel committee report are clearly saying that it is about terminating the membership of Mahua Moitra from the 17th Lok Sabha. Vasudha, let me take that question to you. What about Mahua Moitra? What should we expect today from her? Where is she?
Of course, Maria, like you and Akhilesh were breaking yesterday that there are very serious charges against her, and what I understand from my sources is also Home Ministry's submission to Ethics Committee has been extremely alarming. She's basically, the panel which had asked for reports from Home Ministry, MEA and IT Ministry, and these ministries, the government departments had put in their submissions, and in one of the submissions, I understand the Home Ministry had talked about the threats to national security when an MP of someone like Mahua Moitra shares her security credentials with somebody who's not even in India. So basically, this login credential is just not about sharing and pasting questions. It really has drafts of parliamentary reports. It has drafts of committee meetings, and union committee meetings. We've reported on the Parliament how confidential these are, because government departments are often called to make the representation. Many important critical details are given out. So clearly, this is not simple. This is an online threat to the national security. This is what Home Ministry has said, and that is why the charges that are against her, apart from the money trail, which is anyway serious in nature, this sharing of login credential has also been flagged by extremely serious by the Home Ministry. So clearly, the TMC, of course, faces problems here, and today, incidentally, it's also, summons have been issued to Mr. Abhishek Banerjee. He's also sort of going to appear in front of ED, and then Mahua Moitra is also, she was this urban, this urban, feminist face of the TMC, but Mamata Banerjee herself is seen as a pro-poor person who is a mass leader. So I don't think the TMC actually thinks of Mahua Moitra's expulsion as a big loss to it politically, because the party has actually showed its strength in 2021 when it fought the BJP and managed to get a majority.
Yes.
2019 was very different when it lost 18 seats to the BJP. So 2024 is going to be equally difficult for the party. But as far as my sources in the TMC are concerned, they are saying that Mahua Moitra's expulsion is not going to be a big damage to them politically. That is why they are all, sitting quiet over this, and they're not coming out to defend this completely, also because the charges against her are extremely serious, and they don't want to be seen as a party that's defending the indefendable.
Yes. All right, Vasudha, thank you so much. Let me go back to Prashant and try to get more details, because it is about that composition of this panel, because it's likely to vote now on this report. And similar to what happened on 2nd, let's not forget that on 2nd, there were several opposition MPs who had staged a walkout following Mahua Moitra, and all of them had asked the question, where is the cash? But now that report of the ethics panel clearly says that it is for the government to investigate. The right agency must investigate. Prashant, so after this, what should we expect? the Lok Sabha Speaker gets the report, then only in the winter session of Parliament the final process will be completed?
That's right, Maria. That's the process. Ethics Committee, after the adoption of the report, will submit the report to the Lok Sabha Speaker, as you know, as you rightly pointed out. And on the very first day of the winter session that is scheduled to begin in the first week of December, the process is that Lok Sabha Speaker will get the report laid on the table of the House. And once the report is tabled, a motion is likely to be moved from the Treasury benches, most probably from the Deputy Leader of the House or probably from the Parliamentary Affairs Minister's side. They will move a motion, saying that Mahua Moitra should be expelled in light of the report given by the Ethics Committee. And then there will be a sense of the House, either through voice vote or through the division of votes, whatever may be the case. Since there will be overwhelming majority in favor of the expulsion of Mahua Moitra, because BJP has a majority in the Lok Sabha also. So there will be either a voice vote or division of votes will take place, and Mahua Moitra in all likelihood will be expelled from the 17th Lok Sabha. As you just said, that the term of the 17th Lok Sabha expires in May next year. So this is the process, and once this evening the report is adopted, then the ball will set in motion, and the Speaker, once the report is presented to the Speaker, he'll take a final call. But this is the process largely, and this has been the precedent largely.
All right, Prashant, thank you so much for joining us. Let me bring in my guest now. Ashwini Dubey is a lawyer, Sanjay Singh, journalist, Yashwardhan Azad, former IB officer and former cop, Tehseen Poonawala is an analyst. Ashwini, beginning with you. So, as far as how it looks like, it's only a matter of time, perhaps during the winter session of Parliament, the initial days itself, when the report is tabled on the floor of the House and the sense of the House is taken, Mahua Moitra will have her, termination of a membership, which has been recommended by this panel report.
Yes, you see, there's a clear-cut case of violation of immunity which has been granted to a parliamentarian who takes oath to abide by the constitution, to abide by the law of the land. But here is a clear case where a parliamentarian is guilty of contempt of the House on 4 counts. One, because the parliament's contempt is because the login ID and password of the parliament has been shared with a person who has a business interest. Second, there is a breach of privilege. Breach of privilege because the cash benefits, other benefits have been illegally taken in lieu of the asking questions. Third, access to login ID to someone who has no concern with the parliamentary proceedings and the larger nexus which is being examined. And the one and most, the mistake on the part of the parliamentarian who takes oath to support the process, to appear before any of the committee appointed by the Parliament Lok Sabha Speaker to examine any issues instead of going, deposing, joining an investigation, asking the questions which is being asked by a group of parliamentarians, accusing against the committee itself shows that she has no concern about the constitution. She has no concern about the oath which she has taken. Now coming to the other aspect. Since there is a Lokpal, because this has not only stopped here, the Lokpal has also taken prima facie found that she is guilty of
Yes. Ashwini, there seems to be some problem with the audio. We'll try and connect with you again. But Sanjay Singh, let's recall for our viewers what happens from now onwards. Is Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Mr. Om Birla, in a position, does he have the powers to just decide on the basis of this report and go ahead with the termination or expulsion of Mahua Moitra? Or will there be a sense of the House that has to be taken, just as what we saw in 2005? At that time, of course, BJP had more MPs who were caught on camera in that sting operation. LK Advani, who and the leader of the House then, late Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, all of them were on the same page. But here, this time, it's a divided House. This is a different nature of politics that's happening in India right now, and particularly in Parliament.
Maria, even then, on question of inquiry, I think LK Advani and Trinamool Mukherjee were on the same page. But when it came to expulsion of
Yes.
the members, I think there was a difference of opinion then. The other issue, whether or not this is really within powers of the Speaker before asking for a sense of House, that can happen only sometime next month when House assembles for winter session. But prior to that, whether the Speaker has this thing within his powers, that is something which will be, I think, debated and discussed and taken into consideration by the Lok Sabha Speaker with help of legal luminaries and also parliamentary records and systems. The question that you raised, I was hearing to your conversation with Prashant. It was something very significant that if that happens, there is a vertical split in Congress party would be reflected through vote, if at all.
Yes.
Because the composition of the ethics committee is of 8 and 7. 7 including chairman from the BJP and 8 from opposition parties. When we say that, when many people say that all 5 opposition MPs boycotted, abstention cannot be taken as boycott. So there is a thin difference when we talk in terms of the procedural part of it. 8 members from the different opposition parties. So if the composition is tilted towards opposition, the balance of its composition, but I think on issues, various issues, because as it is, parliamentary committees are supposed to be bipartisan. They take a call, but that actually does not happen many times.
What happened? But Sanjay Singh, what happened on 2nd becomes important. Because we had been raising the question, where is the opposition and why is the opposition parties, particularly the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party or even Mahua Moitra's own party, why are they not standing with her? But when it mattered the most, inside that ethics committee, Uttam Reddy of the Congress, along with the JDU MP and the BSP's Mr. Danesh Ali, all of them walked out in support of Mahua Moitra. So I want to understand, Tehseen Poonawalla, from you, that how does it really help the opposition in its larger... Yes, please, go ahead, Sanjay. Go ahead, Sanjay.
The sense I get, parties taking this thing, senior party leaders talking on public platform in support of Mahua Moitra, the Congress or the TMC, Mamata Banerjee, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, and giving a support inside a committee room, closed doors of committee room, are 2 different things. When you say that from big political leaders, say that from public platform, they will be questioned and attacked, right? And on various grounds that you have already mentioned about what could be the possible reasons. And there, Mahua Moitra seems to be abandoned to her own fate. Inside committee room, game slightly changes because there they can say that this was within the kind of advocate arguing for a case, a political party belonging to a political party in a court of law. And
yes, so in public perception or in the public eye, Sanjay Singh, if we were to say this, the parties understand that prima facie, with Mahua Moitra herself accepting that she shared the login and ID and password, with Darshan Hiranandani submitting his affidavit, in public eye, it appears clearly that Mahua Moitra is guilty. Now the question here is, whatever happens in that committee hall, parties do not want to be seen with her outside, is the view.
Yeah.
Tehseen, the question is, how does this benefit the opposition's tirade or campaign against the government if they are backing Mahua Moitra inside the committee room?
I don't understand, Maria. Why does it not assist the opposition? They're duty bound to affect the government. So I don't think that is very relevant on why they're backing her. And I also disagree very humbly with you, Maria, on the public perception. You see, we're a very polarized society at the moment. So you have the opposition supporters, which are about 50% of the country or 60%, and you have the BJP supporters. And I think there is a deep division. Whoever you talk to, if you're a BJP supporter, you will be anti-Mahua. If you're a pro-Congress or TMC supporter, anti-BJP, you'd say, look, she's being victimized. She shouldn't have shared the login. So there is a division even in society. And I think the parliamentary committee is reflecting that. One, I am glad that parliamentary committee proceedings are not on camera, simply because it's expected that members can rise above political partisanship and take stands. I, for one moment, don't endorse what Mahua Moitra did. I think she did some things that are absolutely silly, terrible, perhaps even bordering on criminality. But this is not a criminal offense. Look, so something anti-national could have happened. It didn't happen, right? So that's not criminality. The ethics committee can definitely go into it. They have the numbers. They will suspend her. But I feel the process could have been slightly better. She should have been allowed to cross-question the affidavit sender, that is Hiranandani, her ex-boyfriend Jay. And here's the point. If Mr. Hiranandani, the so-called nationalist now, who's so submissive, sent in that affidavit, why is he not criminally liable? I think if Mahua is criminally liable for taking money, then so is Hiranandani. Because in our country, if accepting a bribe is a crime, then so is giving a bribe. So why is Hiranandani not being pulled up for all the nonsense he did, particularly against certain corporate groups? Why is his contracts not being cancelled? And I think that is a very important question that needs to be asked, and we need to question the Hiranandani group and go after them.
Okay. Yashwardhan Azad, the question is about criminality. Of course, an ethics panel doesn't really have that domain. They cannot sit in judgment whether this is a criminal offense, whether there is a cash trail. And that is the reason why, if you look at recommendation 2 of this ethics panel, it says very clearly that the money trail of cash transaction between Srimati Mahua Moitra and Sri Darshan Hiranandani as part of the quid pro quo should be investigated by the government of India in a legal, institutional and time-bound manner. And of course, it is subject of what next, in the sense that whether it will be the CBI which will be investigating it or the Delhi police, which agency do you think will be looking into this entire investigation now?
Well, I just heard that Lokpal is still functioning, and so Lokpal will, I suppose, can get it investigated through their own sources, because they have almost everything, or they can get it done through the CBI, and first there'll be a preliminary inquiry. But since a lot of questions have been raised earlier on this panel, let me delve into those issues also, because the committee went into a whole range of things. And one was that the login password was shared with Hiranandani. Yes, that's correct. And that's unethical. That's wrong. Let me also tell you that all the government officers in this country share their logword password with their PAs. Well, in this case, it was shared with somebody who's outside the country, and that's absolutely wrong. It can clearly be established if login was done from Dubai or some other place. Secondly, was there an issue of national security also? I won't know. It's a portal where you put up questions, you get an OTP, and then you can see your questions. But somebody said that you can see parliamentary reports, etc. also. I think this can be easily verified, because this is a very, very important question, whether that portal leads you to various kinds of parliament reports and secret reports. Otherwise, the national security part fails completely. So at best, so far, what the committee should have done, and of course, because it's majority, it can expel. That's all right. That's in their domain. But the question is whether a charge like this does cause an expulsion order or should lead to an expulsion order. Regarding the second part is a very serious part, that is cash for query. Now, cash for query is a very serious part, yes. And against MPs, as you pointed out, last time, both the Raj Sabha and the Lok Sabha had recommended that, but people did not agree with expulsion, perhaps. In this particular case, I feel if this part is established, there should be very, very serious, impact. And of course, it can lead to expulsion. But what I find, one of the most important things is intent. Did Mahua Moitra want to sort of damage the national security by giving it to Hiranandani. It's also established that he has been friend of her for last 20 or 30 years. And a juta here and a chappal there and a perfume there, does it lead to a kind of real bribery? I don't know. But yes, if the Lokpal has been given the complaint, Lokpal it can either get it investigated through the CBI or it can get it done through their investigation. And that is a very critical part which needs to be seen.
Maria, can I add a
Yes.
point to this?
Ashwini Dubey, since you...
Can I please add a point? Just a point?
One moment. Yeah. Okay. Okay,
just a
Tessie.
point.
Okay,
I
Tessie,
actually
30
concur
seconds.
completely. Yes, I actually concur completely with what the former IPS Azad ji says. Look, one is the national security. I don't think that's established. Two, I again come back to one very important point. Mr. Hiranandani makes allegations on an affidavit, but he doesn't come in and he sends his affidavit suo moto. Fine. He doesn't come and testify. He's the complainant, right? It's based on his affidavit. He doesn't come and testify. She's not allowed to cross-examine. Now, if Mr. Hiranandani's affidavit, I read it. He says, look, I gave her some gifts because I was submissive and she was dominating. Does he say himself that I gave her these gifts in lieu of questions to be asked? He doesn't say it. And I'll tell you why this is very important. This is very important because if Ms. Mahua Moitra took gifts in lieu of questions to be asked on behalf of Mr. Hiranandani, please understand, criminally, Hiranandani is as guilty as Mahua Moitra. So then the CBI inquiry that happens...
Okay, so since you're emphasizing on the role of Hiranandani as well. Yes, Ashwini Dubey, the point here is, if you look at what the recommendations of this committee is, of course, questions will be raised about the conduct of Darshan Hiranandani. He has posted and logged in almost like 47 to 49 times from Dubai, as the IT ministry has told the panel. And 50 of the questions that Mahua Moitra has asked in one way or the other is linked to the advantages for Hiranandani Group and targeting the other business house. If it's increasingly clear that she was becoming, that there is this business house which was using her login ID and password also to settle its political scores, business scores. But the larger question here is that the role of Darshan Hiranandani becomes important. It cannot just stop at just submitting an affidavit.
First, Maria, let me reply to what Tehseen said. Then I will come to this answer. My dear brother Tehseen, this is a question where civil court proceedings or criminal proceedings guided under the Code of Criminal Procedure and Code of Civil Procedure is not exactly followed. So for the question and the cross questions, that has to be decided by the Ethics Committee. That what evidences, in which manner they would admit it and admissible, whether it will be admissible or not. Because if you read the Parliament section of business rules, does not say that the Evidence Act will apply. So far as admitting the contents of the affidavit, and that too not denying by the Mahua Moitra itself is an admission. That is, admission itself is sufficient to recommend the further course of action as so far as the constitutional powers of the Ethics Committee are concerned. So the Ethics Committee is very well right. Now, my dear brother Tehseen Poonawala, another aspect which is sharing. Darshan Hiranandani, who was the custodian of the login ID and parliamentary privilege. Parliamentary privilege was very well within the ambit, scope, powers, authority with the Mahua Moitra. Mahua Moitra has shared it. Had Mahua Moitra not shared the login ID and credentials to Darshan Hiranandani, from where he would have got the access. Fourth and fifth point, if you are referring to the provisions of the law, the Code of Criminal Procedure also talks about the approver. Here is the case where one person admitted his mistake, is stated on oath, on affidavit that, look, I under some bona fide mistakes or bona fide belief or not with my intention was this, she has shared all these things and questions have been made by me. Now, another, my dear brother Tehseen Poonawala, member of parliament under the garb of constitutional immunity, cannot sell their privilege in lieu of some gifts or other benefits. Now coming to the what Maria has asked. Here the question is that prima facie evidences are found to have substance Why? Because one, Mahua Moitra has not denied that login ID has not been shared. Mahua Moitra has nowhere stated that
Yes,
the gift
Ashwini,
Maria,
Tehseen
please
wants to
allow me to
respond to
conclude.
you. One moment.
Maria, my
Tehseen
dear
wants to
friend,
respond to you, and then you can continue.
my dear friend who's a
Yes.
fabulous lawyer, my dear friend who's a fabulous lawyer, and if I'm ever in trouble, I'd want him to defend me, makes two fundamental mistakes. Number one, let me give you an example of playing with a knife. It's a very stupid thing to play with a knife, perhaps even idiotic. But if I cut Ashwini ji or you, Maria, that is criminal. Playing with a knife may be stupid, but she has an indulged in criminality that hasn't been established. She accepts that the password has been given. Now let's come to the idea of gifts. Hiranandani himself says, "I have given gifts." Mahua accepts it. Were those gifts in lieu of questions? If that is, Hiranandani suddenly cannot become an approver and escape criminality. That's not how it works. The third part about it, whatever the parliamentary committees, it cannot be about the Constitution, Article 14, that gives everybody a right to free and fair trial, which includes the right to cross-examine. She has not been given the right. Somebody randomly sends an affidavit. Based on an affidavit, there's a trial. She's not allowed to cross-examine. The affidavit sender is not called.
Okay.
This calls for
Okay,
a
I have
mistrial.
just 30
In my
seconds for
opinion.
Sanjay Singh because
Sorry.
while we understand the legalese and the legalities, there is this entire domain of politics that will play out. Let's not forget that the BJP is going all out in the state of Bengal, and they have got an issue to perhaps raise again and again against the TMC. Now is also the case of Mahua Moitra. Do you think they will raise it at all in Bengal elections, or are you of the opinion that because several ministers very close to Mamata Banerjee are already behind bars under the scanner of multiple agencies, her nephew is being summoned by the ED, those are strong enough issues for the opposition to raise? And forget about Mahua Moitra.
There is a very strong case of morality and integrity and ethics and other issues are building against Trinamool Congress party. Mahua Moitra couldn't have been an MP on her own if she did not have blessings first as an MLA and then as an MP of Mamata Banerjee. The other cases that you are referring to about seat in the ED investigations and some of her cabinet minister in jail, I think all in all that builds a very strong case in terms of political argument, narrative, shaping a narrative against Mamata Banerjee. That I think that process is already on. With Mahua Moitra, what happens that Mahua Moitra was, I think, the most articulate in terms of there are others from TMC also who are articulate. But Mahua Moitra was taken as somebody, a woman, articulate, foreign returned, belonging to Trinamool Congress party, taking a vehement stand against Modi government, taking on everybody, single women, so on and so forth. So therefore, she was kind of taken as champion and some of all that not just Trinamool Congress, India Alliance, and that whole ecosystem. What happens with Mahua Moitra coming in the dock and prima facie accepting as it was some of the allegations? She puts not just herself in the dock, but also Trinamool Congress Party and India Alliance. The other thing that was being talked about, one small clarification, the ethics committee functioning is different from a functioning of court of law. So in sense of cross-examination and other things that are demanded by an MP, an aggrieved party, whether that is fulfilled or not, this is entirely within domain of ethics committee.
Yes, and that's the domain of parliamentary committees and absolutely. Absolutely. So around 4 p.m. is when Mahua Moitra will, not Mahua Moitra, but the panel which is examining Mahua Moitra's case will be meeting. The MPs who are from opposition could demand division, which means we'll know clearly who voted for this report, who voted against this report. The opposition MPs could also submit dissent notes, and then this report will be adopted. Thereafter, it will be submitted to the Lok Sabha Speaker. The Lok Sabha Speaker will then be getting a sense of the House during the winter session of Parliament, and then the entire action will happen. The criminal investigation will also begin, is what the sense is now coming. I would like to thank the guests. Of course, this remains our top focus here on NDTV. Thanks so much for watching. News and updates on the other side.